Okay, so who will you be voting for in 2024? Daryl.
Do I have to say his name? I don't want to, but more than likely it's gonna be Trump.
Yeah, unbelievable.
then-
Unbelievable.
Who are you going to be voting for?
Biden.
And then Victor?
I'm with her.
Oh, Biden, okay.
Trump.
Eric, Trump?
Biden.
Biden?
Trump.
Okay, we're an even split, which I didn't see that coming. So do you think there's going to be a big shift, any sort of change?
I think it's gonna be a big shift.
Me too.
Big shift?
Yes. Big
Really? Okay.
For me, I've always been a Democrat, and it's like for the most part with the Democratic Party, they always make a bunch of promises that they can't deliver.
You know, they use the issues of the African American community as a soapbox to stand on and make promises, you know, just to get us to come out and vote. And then once we vote and everyone's in place, it's like, well, what happened?
That right there is a Democrat's worst nightmare in 2024. As you saw in the intro, there's a shift. There's a shift happening in the Black community. I honestly believe that, right? Because for the longest time, Black Democrats, I'm talking to you, Black Democrat, you have abused this kind of credibility that Black America has given you. You know, Black voters are the most loyal Democratic constituency in America, and you abused your position so much, so far, that you have lost pretty much most of your credibility. You demonize Black conservatives for merely having a difference of approach to solving the problems that affects the Black community. You paint anyone who is not a Republican, who is not Democrat, as being against the interests of Black people. But time and time again, many people, you saw from my 30-minute video, my 30-minute rant, by the way, about how these pro-Blacks are finally coming around. And this is the biggest argument that Black conservatives been pointing out to the Black community for the longest time. How can you vote for a party whose policies, the results of their policies, have given you negative outcomes throughout your generations, throughout the history of Black America, but you continue voting for them? Make it make sense. And in the intro, the dude's surprised. He's like, wow, he was stunned. He was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that kind of answer. And the point that the Black woman made as voting for Trump, she said how the Democrats stand on racial problems as their soapbox to preach their message. Because at the end of the day, Democrats are only about themselves. And the pro-Democrat, who love to call Black conservatives coons, love to propagandize Black America into hating Republicans just because they're a Republican, not understanding that a Republican merely has a different view of solving the issues and problems that face all Americans, not just Black America. Republican Party is a party that don't look at your race. We start looking at race because Democrats start looking at race. Democrats want Black people to get special treatment. Democrats want Black people to get special loans and grants and all that stuff. And Republicans are just saying, yo, how is it? It was discrimination when we allowed white people to do this stuff. And now you're giving Black people the same courtesy. You see how much hate white people get in America? And in the long term, this is a conservative argument for why you should not support special privileges for the Black community, for Black people, is because eventually, given on a long enough time span, future generations of Black people will face the same vitriol and hatred that white people get in this country today because of the special treatment. People are going to point down to this time period and be like, look, Black people were only ones receiving grants for businesses. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, people are going to be pointing back to this instance of Black privilege. And all the Republicans saying, all the conservatives saying is, yo, we're all Americans here. We should all be treated the same. If one American is allowed to do it, all Americans are allowed to do it. If no American is allowed to do it, then keep it consistent. But Democrats are playing this game of having different standards for different people merely because these people happen to vote Democrat at a large proportion. So how is this not looking like special favors? Democrats love to bash Republicans, say, oh, look, they're voting they're just protecting the interests of big corporations. You're protecting the interests of just Democratic voters. You're not for Americans. You're just for yourselves. And Democrats, Black Democrats, think they're a part of this cabal in class. But they'll be the same people, especially Black progressives. They'll be the same people crying about how they're in an abusive relationship with the Democratic Party. If you can never leave a party, if you never consider another party for your vote, of course your loyalty is going to be abused, because that's the incentives that black people as a whole in general has put out in politics. Pander to us, give us promises, make us feel like we understand you, we validate how you feel about the country, even if it goes against reality, statistics, facts, it don't matter. As long as we cater to your feelings about a country, your sentiments, you get our vote. And I'm trying to point, and I'm gonna highlight this clip. This is Brandon Johnson, your black mayor, right? Preaching about how, oh, it's white people, it's this. When in reality, Chicago's been voting Democrat for 90 plus years. Voting Democrat is the problem. Voting Democrat is what created the environment which you are feeling responsible, which falls on you, Chicagoans and this black mayor. And y'all voted for this man because he was black. But what policies he's doing any differently than the Democrat that came before him, Larry Lightfoot? What's the differences? He's even more to the left of Lori Lightfoot. But because he's black, man, somehow you're going to get a different result. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. And I think this is the shift that the black community is waking up to. Let's take this clip about how Democrats, just not white Democrats, not Asian Democrats, not Mexican, Latino Democrats, black Democrats also preach the same kind of messaging that Democrats have been using to, I guess, solidify black vote, the minority vote, the people of color vote for decades. Let's take a look.
Look, white supremacy is real, y'all.
Say that. Say that.
I'm gonna say that one more time.
Say that.
Because in case the city of Chicago don't know, you got a black mayor
Say that.
with a black wife, black children on the west side of Chicago. And all of these other administrations that shut down our schools, that shut down public housing, that raided the pensions, that sold off the parking meter, that sold off the Skyway. Those people ran this city to the ground, and now they expect a brother to fix it in a year.
Say it.
Well, guess what? We're off to a great start, and I look forward to fixing they mess, building up our communities for the next 23 freaking years. God bless you, Chicago. Southside pride.
He said a whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Right? He talking about how, I'm gonna build this community up. Well, you ran away during July 4th because you knew Chicago, you've been in Chicago for a long time, right, Brandon Johnson? You knew Chicago was gonna get turned up during Independence Day, and a lot of black people died. What was your solution to that? What was the results? What was the results, Mayor Johnson? How are you building up your community when you support an administration that's literally inflating the currency to the point that black people could barely struggling by without government assistance, right? The most poor, most vulnerable people in America cannot survive Biden's economy. And Biden admitted it. He admitted that there was no inflation when he came into office. When he came into office, it was like 1.4% inflation when Biden stepped into office. After January 2021, inflation went like this. It skyrocketed. I laugh. When black people say they're going to vote Biden, right? Like you saw, let me get back here. When you saw the black lady, it was like, she was shocked. She was like she couldn't understand it.
Oh, Biden.
She's like, what? Biden? And then this is a generational difference you see. You see how the older the person look, the more likely they were to say Biden, right? I'm with her. Oh, you wear her with unaffordability? Uh-huh. You wear her 40% groceries? Uh-huh. Y'all want to take credit for Biden? I don't hear none of people want to take credit for Biden, but they want to try to make it nothing but the issues, nothing but the policies. They're making it about personalities. And that's how you know someone don't have an argument. When someone has to make fun of how you talk, how you are, your situations, oh, you're going to vote for a convicted felon. If a convicted felon told me 2 + 2 is 4, and I say he's right, oh, you're agreeing with a convicted felon. That's the kind of game they're playing here. Black Democrats have abused their positions for so long that people are just waking up to it. There's a difference between being politically black and being racially black. What the is politically black? What's that mean? Marxist language, bro. Double speak language. It's trying to insinuate that you don't vote black, equating blackness with action when blackness is just a state of being. No matter what I do, I'm black. If I'm a podcaster, someone's gonna call me a black podcaster, and this will be true. It doesn't matter what I do. Black is who I am, not what I'm trying to be. But a Democrat, a black Democrat, will tie in identity politics with it. And this is why race has become political. This is why people assume black people are Democrats. Because of the messaging from the black Democrat. Because the black Democrat need to protect their grift. But then they'll project what they're doing on black conservatives. Oh, black conservatives are grifting for right-wing channels. Oh, like Al Sharpton? Long-time Democratic supporter, all this. He got a show on MSNBC. You don't hear these same, it's both sides criticizing him. It seemed like it's only socially acceptable for a black person to be Democrat. And that's a narrative that's been pushed by a lot of mainstream media because many people in the mainstream media are registered Democrats. They vote overwhelmingly Democrat. They are registered overwhelmingly Democrat. They're liberal. So a profession dominated by the left likes to perpetuate an image of, hey, this is the acceptable way to be black in this country. But black people are not a monolith. If you really believe that, when you hear a black conservative speak, you're going to be like, oh, okay. You'll listen and be like, oh, okay, this brother disagree with me. But why in the intro, the person was like, oh, I'm shocked by the answers. He's shocked by politically diverse. Imagine that. You're shocked by political diversity. But you're the same group of people crying about, oh, there's not people representing us. You don't cry about conservative perspectives in the black community not being represented. Hypocrisy. But then you expect the larger society as a whole to listen to you as a minority. But in your own community, you don't listen to the minorities in your community. Being a conservative in the black community is a minority status. Do we get a voice? No. Instead, we get shouted down. We get called Uncle Tom. We get called names because black Democrats don't have an argument. Every negative policy, every negative effects in the black community, you can trace it back to a Democratic policy. War on poverty, anyone? Lyndon B. Johnson, anyone? He passed a law that essentially incentivized black women to be single moms. And then when you get all the negative results of single motherhood, high rates of crime, higher propensity to be in poverty, living in bad areas, because then you're going to blame poverty. But if you were married, you're less likely to be in poverty. So that's the consequences of your own decision making. They perpetrate this narrative that there's nothing wrong with a single mother household. If you're widowed, like for instance, if you're widowed and your spouse died, that's one thing. But in the black culture, in the black community, you have black women actively, intentionally choosing to be single moms. Make that make sense. I forgot her name, Ebony Williams, intentionally wanting to become a single mom because she think a career and money is all it takes to raise a child. Pathetic. And we haven't seen the results of following-this already. But no, we keep advocating for bad ideas. We keep accepting or glorifying choices and behaviors that perpetuate a negative outcome for the black community. And this is why the shift is coming. Because it's insanity to keep voting for a party over and over and over again. Who has the highest crime rates? 27 out of the top 30 states with the highest crime rates are all ran by Democrats. Black on black crime is the biggest killer of black lives than white on black crime. But what does the media put in your face? Every instance of the white on black crime. Because black on black is the rule. They like to highlight the exception. 74% of black people lose their lives by the hands of another black person. Do Democrats care about that issue? Black lives are being lost, people. One's going to jail and one's dead. 2 black lives lost in an interaction. Do they care about that? No. And then these pro Democrats have the goal to paint themselves as pro-black. Oxymoronic. These people are political. And I'll point out to this, especially if you're a Marxist. Marxists just lie. They lie so overtly and blatantly that people begin to question their own perceptions. It works because no one expects another person to lie so overtly. They don't believe in shared truth. They use words as weapons, which Democrats are known to use. Oh, you're xenophobic. Oh, it's racist. Oh, you're sexist. Liar. You're distracting from the issue. You're distracting from the argument. You're extracting at the task at hand. How does illegal immigration benefits Chicagoans, woke black mayor Brandon Johnson. But then black Democrats have the gall to be like, not like us. Successful lawyers, men, business owners, even Charlemagne, who said he will vote for Biden. You calling him not like us. What do you mean by that? Every person in this is a successful, influential black person. Every single one of them. They got power, they got influence, and you saying you're not like them? So let's play the opposite. So you say you're not like them. So you're saying black people aren't intelligent? You saying black people aren't powerful? You saying black people aren't influential? What do you mean by not like us? You're poor? Crime culture? We're like George Floyd? Is that what you're trying to insinuate here? They don't just fall in line and vote Democrat like you? Is that what you mean by not like us? Frederick Douglass is like one of my biggest historical people that I look up to. He's one of the reasons that I became a conservative, is that government do nothing for us. Because government is the source of all the problems. Government spending it has a hidden cause. The hidden cause is called inflation. You lose buying power. $5,000 today will buy less tomorrow because of government spending. But you keep wanting welfare programs. You keep wanting social programs. You keep wanting reparations, says the pro-black, says the black progressive. Socialism is slavery. Look it up. Look at how it operates. It operates just like slavery. You want to take 90% of someone's earnings to benefit other groups of people. How is that not slavery? You work, I eat. That was Abraham Lincoln's biggest and most simplest point about slavery. What makes you a Republican, what makes you a conservative is, do you believe that you deserve to eat the fruits of your own labor? You get to dictate how your labor is used. Who benefits from it? Your family, your community. But redistribution of wealth, that takes the choice away because you're using government force to make people do something. And then they have the goal to sit here with their woke BS, distracting from the issues, because at the end of the day, he's in power now. He's going to blame white people and all this stuff, but he's not blaming the right white people. He ain't blaming Democrats. Democrats made the mess you're in. Because at the end of the day, government made a false promise. Government couldn't solve the social issues in the first place. Government only set incentives. Government can either push you to do something or push you not to do something. But they can't make change. Change is something that's on an individual and community level. So in reality, Brandon Johnson, you can't fix ish. The people themselves can only fix it. And all you can do is empower them to fix it or disempower them not to fix it. That's it. That's all the government can do. That's the reality of government. But black people are duped because they don't understand that government has limited power. It can pretend that it can do all these great things. Oh, we can all make you all millionaires. But at what cost? That's the question many people don't ask themselves about these policies that Democrats love to push. If we tax the rich, if we make the rich pay their fair share, we can pay for all this stuff. How is it fair when the rich technically pays about majority of the taxes and they're a smaller group than the majority of America? Make it make sense. If I take 1,000 billionaires and millionaires, they'll pay more taxes than almost 50-60% of Americans. And you want more of their money? How is that not framed as a greedy policy? Make it make sense to me, black Democrats, make it make sense to me. And then if the rich people decide we revoke our American citizenship, we move all our companies out of America, what's going to happen to government spending? It's going to and it's going to cause even more inflation because now the government's imprinting more money to make up the deficit they lost from the rich. Remember what New York lawmakers said? God forbid the rich leave, because they know all their social programs rely on the taxes from the rich. Yet you demonize the same group to win votes from the other people. Instead of saying, hey, I don't care if you're a rich American, poor American, there needs to be mutual benefit for both sides to buy into the country. And this is how Democrats win by division. Democrats can't win on unity. Democrats can't win on in inclusion. Democrats can only win by divide and conquer. They want you to, they see, okay, I want the gay man to hate the straight man. I want the black man to hate the white man. I want the poor to hate the rich. And then when you look, hey, Democrats are the party of the wealthy. College degree people earn on average more money than high school graduates. But 60% of voters don't go to college or never graduated college, yet Biden and the Democrats keep pushing student loan forgiveness. Make it make sense. Majority of Americans do not graduate from college, but you want the majority of their taxes to pay for people who are the constituency of the Democratic Party. How does that not look like a political bribe? Make it make sense. And then the negative results affects all of us. Hey, 27% of inflation was contributed by student loan forgiveness. Smack. So black women, because tend to be the most loyal Democratic voter, will brag about, oh, Biden's forgiving student loan debt. But the very thing that Biden's doing is causing more inflation that's hurting everybody. Wow. But I'm the coon. But black conservatives are voting against their own best interest. How is Democratic Party not the anti-American party? How can any American with a straight face vote for Democrat? It's because I don't mean to sound arrogant. I don't mean to sound egotistical here, but the Democrats rely on the ignorant vote. This is why Democrats love voter turnout. Because voter turnout, majority of people are not going to be as politically informed. I'll say on average, if I had to put a percentage, I'll say only 33% of voters are actually moderately to highly informed about the issues of politics and policies, the results and outcomes of it. Majority of Americans aren't. Majority of Americans are either 1, 2 issue voters, and that's who the Democrats play to. This is why you got Brandon Johnson sitting here with a straight face acting like everything's the white people's fault, when really it's politics, policy, and government fault, which his party pushes, which his party supports. Sanctuary cities, does that help black people or hurt black people? Brandon Johnson did not even want to hold a vote for people to remove whether or not to remove the sanctuary status because he knew he would lose that vote. Democracy at its finest, huh? But this is the party that a lot of black people will defend to the 9. When you make accurate assessments, accurate statements, accurate points against the Democrats, they'll make excuses to say, oh, it's both sides. Both sides can't be trusted. Well, last time I checked, every single Democrat voted in favor of government, of foreign spending, sending our money, our taxpayers, that all the money we 100% paid for the bill for other people who didn't pay into the system to benefit from. 100% of Democrats agreed with the bill. 50% of Republicans did not agree with the bill. So what that tells me, that signals to me that Republicans are more willing to vote along my interests. It's better to get 50% of something than 100% of nothing. And if I'm looking at the Democratic Party, they offer 100% of nothing to the average American person which I'm speaking to. But hey, I'm open to disagreements. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this whole situation, about the shift in the black community? It seemed like the sentiment is changing. And I'm going to take advantage of it because it seemed like black people are more willing to hear what conservatives have to say, and I think conservatives should jump on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.